evening, good evening. Imagine bowling a 300 with a real crystal. Okay. Yeah, that would. You're talking about the 8 pound bowling ball that we had from last night with Linda's show. Yeah, that thing is very, very impressive. So tonight's show with Samuel, he's going to be talking a little bit about uh, witches and warlocks and the difference in similarities. And uh, I'm guessing people are starting to share it out to be nice. If you come in, share it out, whether it be uh, Twitch or Facebook. I'm going to quickly bring up Sam. Woo! How are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing all right. This one's a little bit different.
Or should I say early afternoon for you?
Oh God, it's definitely different not being on the same time zone. It's like from 1991 until this year, I've been on the East Coast. And so now it's like I wake up and everyone online has it pitch black dark. And here it's still lit up as a fire on Christmas Eve or something.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, for the most part, I hope you guys like this one. Like I said, most of this was most of my own knowledge that I've acquired over the years, like the last one. But I hope you guys like it tonight.
Quick display of something we made. It's a bleach stencil. So
I love it.
Take a stencil, spray the shirt. Wand of protection doubles as stabbing device. Yes, they do. So I'm gonna bring Sam up to single screen and let him talk. And if he needs me to come up, just holler and I'll come back up. But
yes, sir.
On to you, sir.
All right. Well, tonight is comparison divisions of witches and warlocks. I hope you guys like it. Witches and warlocks have had their mark on history, both good and bad. They are people that can be very knowledgeable about many different certain subject matters. A witch can be somewhat of a specialist type knowledge on their practice. They can be seen as knowing the fundamentals of their craft. They can be seen as being evolved in the way of their craft. Their knowledge of the style is that of hard work, style, commitment, and dedication. If they choose an apprentice, they can be extremely selective, and that person is to be that of commitment also. It can be that of a brotherhood or a sisterhood, or to some degree, that is why they choose the apprentice to keep their tradition of hard work alive. A warlock is that of a different subject matter. A warlock is that of a different subject matter and also a knowledge seeker, pure and simple. Their magic can be that of starting from one base craft, but they can be seen as getting caught up in the pursuit of that craft and other crafts. The name warlock means oath breaker for a reason. Warlocks can be quite selfish or be seen as being selfish in the way of learning and breaking form from that style and that has they have been taught. In saying this, back to the issue of witches, they generally stay true as to what they have been taught, whether it is morality or bad intent. Warlocks start out with one style of magic, but break from those ways. There are times where the warlock will betray the light to do what they desire, or they can betray the darkness and save those that they feel is worthy and what is needed. Witch is a term that best describes anyone as being able to do magic and draw magic in their own personal use. Like I said, this is a very general term. In certain that I'm reciting to, it's not the full-fledged monty, but it is very generic in that way. In certain areas of the world, that term, if attached to a person, it can mean certain death for that person, depending on their geography, and even in modern times. In parts of Southeast Asia, amongst certain indigenous tribes, if the word witch is attached to a person could get killed. This also happens in Africa, where even a small child can be labeled that and become an outcast in that village, to the point of no one giving the child water or food and being led to starve to death. In certain parts of Europe, there's a civil unrest in these turbulent times, and people are looking for a group to blame, so they are blaming it upon witches that are open and honest about it. Along with witches that are from Europe, the majority of them are known for performing Healy type magic and rituals that affect health, that give health improvement, from alchemy, divination, and along the way various other types of magic. In North America, especially the United States, people are getting attacked every single day in certain sections of the nation for being a witch. People suffer through thick and thin, for being who and what they are. Those people in the United States of the witch type creed, hide who they are on a constant basis, out of fear of being and or killed. It is not just the individual that can get killed, but the family and friends of that individual can be killed. There's a group of people that are not normally mentioned in most of the supernatural occult articles. They are warlocks. People normally think of warlocks from the show Bewitched. They think of women are witches and men are warlocks. The issue is that not everyone can be considered a witch. Most of the community is dominantly female, but men can be witches too. But with being a warlock, it is normally dominated by men, but women can be warlocks also. The definition of warlock means deceiver or oath breaker. Warlocks have a drive for knowledge that can be over the top. They wish to learn compulsively. And seeing this, especially medieval Europe, certain things were considered to be known only for the church, along with the nobles and royalty. Those people that had that drive to learn, not always, would find out some of the information and be considered a heretic. Once that happened, people would gossip and say that the person is no longer of Christianity and can be considered to be that of the devil. Their drive to learn certain mystical arts was part of the compulsion. And learning those arts, along with different languages, arithmetic, and other things, that would give them the title warlock. In those days, Catholic Church and Protestant churches had to do what they could to keep some amount of order and appease the people of Europe, because most of Europe was of complex chaos. With this, there are both witches and warlocks and very big similarities and differences. Just because something is of the light does not make it all good. And just because something is of darkness does not make it all bad. People like John Napier was considered to be a warlock by many. He was a huge scholar, even by today's standards. At the same time, not too many people contributed to the studies of math and science. He was a brilliant person that had an obviously high IQ. In doing so, many people said he was a warlock because of his studies that include the occult. That include the occult. In those days, remember, knowledge was power, and he had a lot of it. And all of the island of Britain knew this. Because of the thirst he had for knowledge, many people considered him to be a warlock. The only reason he was never tried for being a warlock was because of his status in high society. He was noticed being mentioned there, noticed as mentioned before, as someone who did practice the occult and certain different types of magic. His thirst for knowledge never left him until the day he had passed away. There are others like him in those days and times, but not too many people got away with it. As mentioned before, what that is what drives warlocks. Many of them have been known to break free from certain conventional beliefs, such as their faith. That is when they that is whenever they get the title. Breaking away from faith of the time, warlocks, like I said, can be scary, but is more than just someone that breaks free from the light. It can also mean those that break free from the so-called darkness. When you have a person that can no longer be when you have a person that would still be considered a warlock, that which means oath breaker. The reason this is all being mentioned is that there are similarities and differences of witches and warlocks, which I have repeated. None of those titles are a one size fits all term. A witch can be it can be very devoted to his or her faith and form of practice. They can have a good amount of knowledge, but a warlock on certain traits wishes to learn everything and not just one way. So, if a witch was to practice a form of straight offensive magic against a warlock on that very same form of magic, that warlock will lose. Basically, give it to the witch because if it's a straight up fair fight, um, I guess you could say the witch will dominate that conflict. The advantage of warlock is that they can try a variety of lesser type magic spells to get around that form of magic, which can oftentimes give that witch a run for their money. Below are certain below which are being mentioned are a few different forms of magic that can be used by both witches and warlocks, but not exclusively. Alchemy is the chemical ancestor of chemistry. The main purpose of it was to make the philosopher's stone, which was that was used to make lead into gold. The practice was heavily and jealously guarded by an assortment of people from the nobles of Europe and even those of religious parts of Europe and even commoners of Europe. It is also thought to have roots in Egypt, the Middle East, and Greece all the way to the island of Britain. In theory, what is known about it has been sort of successful failure. The reason this is because it is debated that the Philosopher's Stone was never made, but it was. But if it was, it has been a very secret. It's been a jealously guarded secret for a very long time. Logic does say if it was made, no one would tell because you would not want that kind of a situation on your hands. The reason it's considered success is because giving light to so many things that we have now, treated metals, paint, medication, various forms of cement, carpet, drywall, and the list goes on and on. A reason for this being mentioned is because it was considered to be a mystical art that very few people knew about. Many types of people that are of any kind of mystical or supernatural kind of people have been known to use this sort of art, have been known to use this sort of art form. People that are considered witches and warlocks, they're considered commoners and could be executed in various different ways. Even with those threats and consequences, people still journey from yesterday and today, and today's freedom and open-minded individuals are more likely to practice it freely, but there are those that are not inclined to see it that way. Divination is the practice of knowledge, the practice of knowledge. In a general sense, fortune telling, looking to discover the missing knowledge that people do not generally have a sense about. People will look at public records on the internet. Most people are successful when it comes to that. But the problem with the internet is that there's too many options, and getting the facts that you do need and separating the facts you do not need is extremely common. There is the notion of going to the library or a town's archives to find out the information you need. A lot of the time that can work, but not always. You have to know, and sometimes it's specific what you're wanting to know. And finding new information can be great, but may have not been scanned or uploaded onto a database or some kind of system at that time. Then there's the notion of find information, maybe find the notion. I mean, find the information that may be good at the time, but generally misleading. That is where the concept of divination comes in. It is sort of the way of asking your ancestors or past over acquaintances for help and even information. In medieval ancient times, those resources were not available and that we have today. So asking for help was another approach as to sometimes getting answers. People that would do what it took to find out what was needed. Various ways were done to practice this, but in those days, like alchemy, there was consequences for this. Like in other forms of magic that was practiced and and is practiced, closed-minded individuals can make you lose your reputation, can get you tortured, and even killed. A lot of witches and warlocks do this in order to help those who request it. Now, keep in mind, both witches and warlocks have practice and do practice this sort of stuff. But as mentioned, I guess you can say those witches who practice it, they are relentless. They are people that will practice it, keep the faith, keep up with the hard work and the discipline through thick and thin with all this. Now, warlocks, like I said, warlocks, their drive for knowledge is depending on your point of view, can be life saving, or depending on what form, whether Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, can be considered that a blasphemy. So, at least in Christianity, um, you had to go through the channels. On certain ways, divination, you got to go over someone's head to get those answers. And like I said, in medieval Europe, finding out those answers and not through a priest or something else, it would get you killed. Necromancy has many definitions. Meaning is the magic of the dead. When someone prays to someone that has been deceased, that can be considered necromancy. In certain ways, there is a lot more to necromancy than just simple prayers their ancestors. There's also that can be the way of actually dealing with the dead. People have been known to steal things from the dead or certain valuables that have been left for them: gold, silver, glasses, clothing, and other stuff. There is another part to this. Stealing from the bodies themselves. Many people worldwide believe that there are certain factors and certain energies that the dead possess. People steal fingers, bones, teeth, and other parts. Some people will steal the dirt from those graves and sites. People believe it is powerful in the way of using darker types of magic that can go along with those body parts. Some say it provides insight of what the dead know. They also say that it provides an elevated way of cursing or hexing people. People have robbed tombs and graveyards and can oftentimes and invoke the wrath of the dead, which means anger of the dead. Even till this day, yeah, places like temples in Japan, stealing from the dead, sometimes have poisons on them that on certain items that people try to take from the dead. In Egypt, certain tombs still have working booby traps that have the ability to kill people. And even if you make it past the traps and steal from the tombs, comes what is not too far away. King Tut is a huge example of his tomb. Part of necromancy, in theory, is using the magic of the dead to get what you want in your desire and to get to know things. Necromancy from necromancy of this tomb was used to protect what he had. The curses that came up upon it was horrible luck, illness, and even death, and even tragic deaths. It did not matter if you were a thief or an archaeologist. If you did it, you paid the price no matter what the intention was. The same can be said for places like parts of South America. Even places in other parts of Asia that those have been working. The reason for this is because it meant to keep certain items there for the dead, and also to let it be known to someone, even if they survive the curses, they have been cursed and can spread the curse. This has been brought up is the way that witches and warlocks have been known to do necromancy. It sounds like a negative stereotype, but it is the real thing. The dead have ways and knowledge that can be elevated skills to give those that seek them out. The cost of dealing with this is unknown individually, but universally you will pay dearly. Witches warlocks seek this out dramatically. Witches are more generally focused on their magic than practice in a solo way that they practice while warlocks have a drive to find out more. Seemingly, warlocks have a way of not caring if it means getting their not me. Seemingly, warlocks have a way of not caring if it means getting their goals met. Both of the groups have their desires, whether good or even bad intentions. A witch practices this out of a calling for what they feel is their own personal truth, and to thy own self be true. A warlock can practice sometimes as selfish reasons, but sometimes even noble reasons. Summoning magic is a sort of way that is about getting help from anything. A person that can for anything. A person that does summoning magic can conjure those spirits. They can potentially summon angels. They can summon their ancestors, and they can also summon loved ones, whether they're alive or dead. And sometimes they're able to summon some kind of demons and other things and other entities. And in this way, they can give anyone or anything a huge advantage in various different situations. Asking their ancestors can give answers about family history on what is responsible for an action. Summoning angels and or demons can give you an advantage on the battlefield. Summoning different spirits and different entities can give your manual labor more of a rewarding advantage. Another type of summoning is the summoning of familiars. Familiars are generally animals that have a huge amount of loyalty towards the caster and will do what it can to help protect their master and or owner. This is being said because many witches and warlocks have the ability to do this. Someone that is on the outside looking in on this form of magic, they may have an awe of the power that they may be consider as something that goes against their own morality and considers it an abomination. Witches that are able to do this, not always, oftentimes to find a companion in their lives. Witches also do this with certain circumstances in their lives. Warlocks do this just for the knowledge of it and at times to do what the best they can. Having the knowledge of this is huge. Both the warlock and the witch, in order to do this, are to take it seriously. Some witches, some witches and some warlocks have had a certain amount of training in order to do this. Then there are some of those that are just naturally talented and will never be able to train someone else in the way of doing this. With witches being doing this about their path and doing what they are meant to do. Warlocks do this out of a general way to know more and become more of a reason if they just want it. As mentioned before, this is the meaning of the warlock, which is oathbreaker. Infernal magic, at least in theory, is that the magic of the demons and and the powers of hell. A lot of witches do not believe in hell, and a lot of warlocks, but also a lot of warlocks do not believe in hell either. That depends on which one or ones you are asking from. Magic of hell is that of rage, war, vengeance, violence, and other things. You can find out a lot from infernal magic. You can find out the ways to prevent yourself from going there. You can make yourself generally faster, stronger in order to prepare for a fight or even a melee fight, which means fist to fist, foot to foot, and there you go. And you can also use it to punish the wicked and other things. Witches that use this are considered very strong, both power wise and physical wise. They're oftentimes use it in ways to defending what they feel is right in a vicious sort of way, but of any cost. Warlocks do this because they are fascinated with it but wish to learn. Whether the person is a witch or a warlock, they can be considered that of someone that you do not want to mess with. Witches that use this do not do so out of loyalty towards their path and to meet certain goals of what their path needs of them. Warlocks do this because, in pursuit of arcane knowledge, they also want physical knowledge of strength and stamina, speed and endurance. The knowledge is oftentimes is that of wanting to help and prevent things from happening, especially bad things from happening. Whether you want to admit it or not, infernal magic can be used to safeguard people, villages, cities, farms, and other places people live and congregate in. What it does in theory is what it does in theory is to take that invader, bad guy, or even bully out before they do you. In other words, with infernal magic, it can safeguard those who you care about and you love. And through thick and thin, it's been true. It's been very true, depending on the caster who uses it. Whatever form of magic that is used by a witch, they normally practice it in one, not always, but they practice one type. A witch is loyal to those that have been there and are good to them. Whether in person, a group, or people have an idea of their path. No matter what the issue, their commitment and loyalty is that of a higher notion that is of a higher purpose. A warlock is someone that will break most any oath to get the answers they want. Many of them are regarded as being brilliant, but they are not afraid to sell someone out, in general sense, to get what they want. Witches mostly are women, and warlocks are mostly men. Whatever continent you're in, and a witch normally gets to the blunt end of the stick. Since most of them are women, it can be harder on them. Uh, excuse me. Punishments can be more severe upon witches, especially female witches. Witches are real. No matter what time period, witches suffer on a dramatic scale. Warlocks that are normally men are normally men and have been known to pass the blame onto someone to oftentimes save themselves. Parts of history, warlocks have been executed in a dramatic fashion, and occasionally in a worse fashion than what a witch has gone through. They normally have been they normally have been known to get out of certain charges and situations that would get them killed, like a witch, because of their social status. The other reason for warlocks getting out of it is because the art of manipulation, to a degree, sexism. Witches are some of the most loyal individuals in life. They can be of good and bad in their many ways that are, and also ways that are considered to be gray, which means a combination of the light and of the darkness, or heavens, or hell, whatever you want to call it. But that's the majority of them, whether they are of a witch creed or a warlock creed. As I said before, they're loyal to a fault, but even whenever it does not work out in their favor, warlocks are an enigma in their own right. They have significant reasons as to why they break their oaths that they may have taken. People normally see it as a bad thing, but there are those who have good and moral reasons as to why they break their oaths. So, like I said, some things you can assume and some things you can't. But the best thing to do is find out as to why they've done it. So much of the world is focused on the light and the dark, but let us not forget the entire color spectrum, and let us not forget the color gray. In an extent, this is most warlocks. Significant reasons, as there are plenty, but rarely, if ever, discussed. Added on to this, warlocks are known to break from the light, but breaking from the darkness is something they rarely, if ever, get credit for. Let us not forget that. Individuals wanting to find people to blame for their problems are found in most every part of history. In certain ways, it is understandable to not want to take responsibility for your actions and to blame your problems and your circumstances upon someone else. The wide scale effects of those actions have been never ending. People hiding out in the shadows because the certain beliefs and abilities that they're found in everywhere. You just have to know where to look for them. If you're lucky to find them, be on their good side as much as you can. They're very different but very similar. In other words, witches and warlocks. Trusting which can be hard depending on the subject matter and the path that they are on. Warlocks are an interesting group. Let's not forget that, of people that can have the most amazing stories, and because of how they pursue them. Trusting a warlock, though, is something you need to rethink the issue upon whenever you bring it up with them. It may be used to betray you, or be thrown in your face, or it could be or a warlock could be the best friend you ever had and the savior that you may need. So, what do you guys think? You there, Chad?
Nope.
Okay, but like I said, in regards to witches and warlock, that I'm mainly talking about, the general area that I'm mainly talking about is how can I put this? The general area of the warlock is that they may have the reasons as to why they are breaking from that path. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they were start out as witches. It doesn't necessarily mean that. And there is more than just one type of magic. There's more than one type of magic user. But for the most part, don't assume anything with a witch, or do not assume anything in specific with a witch or a warlock. You find out if you dare and everything. But the best thing to do in regards to those two groups, at least in my opinion, is stay on their good side and keep an open mind. You never know; they could have done it for the most righteous of reasons.
Right.
Hey, Ken,
Uh,
good to see you.
let's do a couple of quick shout outs here. We got Mom on here, Anna Marie. We got Sherry, who's watching. Ken Allen, uh, always supporting. We've got Linda watching. Uh, that looks about it at the moment. Um, um, Earlier in part of your show, uh,
Hmm.
you keep referring Warlock and stuff as the male version. Ken says he prefers Sorcerer.
That makes perfect sense. The thing is, this is just my opinion. We're all adults. We're all
Yep.
adults on this, but warlocks are the name means oathbreaker and everything. And I definitely get where anybody's coming from. Warlock is in a different sort of way, somebody who may have the most righteous reasons as to break from sorcerers. In this, my opinion, sorcerers are those who will stick to their commitment. They're very strong, very powerful, and well rounded. But like I said, warlocks, in my opinion, are those who break the oaths. And like I said, it's my opinion. I'm no master.
Right. So I also, after we're done, I have uh, some information for you about one of the sigils that you took a picture of.
Thank you. I was hoping to hear from that.
So I got some information about that. And does anybody have any questions, source, or the differences? And any questions for Sam? I know it's Mr. Speedy Gonzalez with his 37 minutes of.
I am so sorry. I just get started and it's kind of hard to stop. This is one of my passions in that sort of way. And I want to say, everyone, including you two, Chad and Linda, and people that see this, um, thank you. I appreciate it.
We appreciate you coming on. I mean, you do the research and come on and speak. Funhouse Paranormal. I don't normally use YouTube, but I'm on here because you guys are on. I go on tonight, but I got some free time. Well, we thank you.
Thank you.
Um, I believe we're on Twitch too. There, Funhouse. Um, Brandon. Uh, we saw that you're not going to Crybaby Bridge. Uh, that's kind of disappointing. I wanted to watch that tonight, but uh, we understand things come up, change of plans. We are going to be going out. Look, he did good. It's not like 20 minutes before, like when you first started. Yeah, that is very true. You spread it out to 35 minutes, not till Thursday due to some health.
What can I say? What can
You,
I say?
you 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 used to do 20 minutes. Speed mouth.
Yeah, it's like I should go into auctioneering. I mean, go into one of those Kentucky auction houses and start doing that.
Right.
Sound like the world's first rapper, Dr. Seuss.
Sure.
So, see
I
how
do
that
not like
goes.
green eggs and ham. I will not eat them, Sam I am.
Oh God, I'm pathetic about that. And everyone knows here that attends these things. I run my mouth a little too damn much. So,
Well, we don't actually have to keep it too long tonight. I mean, we normally try to keep it at an hour, but
yeah. But if anybody's interested, Chad and Linda were bringing up some of the sigils I've been taking every so often. Um, One of them, were you talking about the recent one that I took?
yeah, I'll share it real quick.
I would love that.
let me pull it up and then. That one.
Nice. Yeah, that one. I didn't know what it was and everything, but I saw
Well,
that. I thought it was a thing of beauty.
well, I will give you an update on exactly what it is.
Okay.
It is a voodoo sigil,
Wow. I caught a gem on that.
and the person that helped me figure it out, um, hold on, stop sharing. Stop sharing. Um, you're live again. Oh, C Death 420. We're actually live. We were live 42, started 42 minutes ago, but I did not realize that last night's show was playing, and that's why it was uh, acting stupid. They kept on saying that it was cutting off on our end, and I'm like, what? So I looked on Twitch, and it was last night's show. That's why you were talking about the 8 pound bowling ball looking like Neptune or Jupiter or whatever it was. Samson. Yeah. So that was last night's show. I don't know why it was. I guess by our affiliation with Bald and Bonkers, they kind of took that back out there from last night's show. Um, anyway, the person I found out that the sigil um, let me know that it was a, what did he say it was? A voodoo VV VE VEVE.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Wow. I
that was
I'm a, I caught something gold.
yeah. And that particular person, I found out that will be available next Thursday.
Is it
Because
Mike?
no,
Oh, okay.
we'll talk later.
Of course.
Um, but uh, yeah, they said they'll be available next Thursday. Well, I think it was better for me. Yeah, Thursday would be so. Um, what we normally would have Linda's inner quartz, we're going to no. Thursdays is usually yours. No, I'm confused. Oh, yours was supposed to be Wednesday, and Linda's
Mhm.
was supposed to be. It's usually on Thursdays for the inner quartz,
Yeah.
but due to my uncle passing, finding out my
I'm sorry
uncle
to hear
was
that.
passing, I just was not in a right set of mind and wanting to be on or anything. I got further information on. Damn, I like listening, Mom. I like listening to your stories because they're not repeats, and you have a lot to say, regardless if he's an auctioneer or not.
Thank you. That is so cool. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So I found out more information, and it was something that I kind of was. not prepared to hear more yesterday, but um, it is what it is. Is what it was. Um, he had a heart attack and passed, and so my mom and my sister are on their way to South Carolina to deal with all that. Um, my mom has another brother from my grandmother had another child, and my grandfather had another child. So she still has a half brother and a half sister, but they're brother and sister. So, but out of my mom, my uncle, and my aunt, she is the only blood of the father mother situation. So I just want to make sure that they are safe on their travel. They started traveling down today,
Mhm.
and we'll be down there for a week to take care of everything that needs to be taken care of. Uh, so security, the mail, cleaning out the house that he was living in, or trailer. You lived in a mobile home park down there in Myrtle Beach, which I would have
Wow.
loved to gone down, but uh, me being my uncle when my mom and my father uh, separated before my sister's father was in the picture. My aunt and my uncle kind of helped my mom take care of me. So me going down there probably wouldn't have been for the best anyway, because out of all the nieces and nephews that he had, I had the most time with him.
Mhm.
Whether it had been him coming up here to, I'm listening to Linda in the background there, from him coming up here to pheasant hunt down in Curtis Bay to me knowing where my father was and me and him coming up. Mind you, my uncle was 6'2", and uh, Ken Allen there. Good job, Sam. Uh, and Funhouse actually said something
Thank you.
earlier too that you found your new career, an auctioneer. But I found out where my father was living at the time, and me and my uncle. I was 16 and 5'11", or almost 5'10", 5'11". My uncle's 6'2". Come knocking on his door, and this 5'4" guy comes to the door, looking at me and him, going, "Do I know you?" Well, should, I'm your son. Um, so me and my uncle had a fun little laugh at that. Um, we love you too, Brandon. We'll be watching at 9:30. So if you have to get off here and enjoyed some time with Stacy and the rest of the family before you get on, we understand. Um, but uh, at the time, I liked A&W root beer, and me and him having a crazy bet on the ending of Jaws 2. Mind you, Jaws and all the Jaws movies were my favorite. Um, so me going, oh, I know how this ends. My uncle thought it was something different, and our wager was a 6 pack of A&W root beer. He lost, so I got a nice 6 pack of A&W root beer. Uh, I I like A&W, but Barks root beer. After I tasted that, Barks root beer is by far better than A&W. A&W for ice cream float. When I was little, I thought it was good for. hamburgers and what? What? Hamburgers and whoop beer. Somebody's missing the H. When I was little, I thought it's good for hamburgers and whoop beer. That is, but um, sorry, Sam, I'm taking off
It's okay.
the
No,
very end of your. Uh, but yeah, I mean, my aunt had passed. My aunt, my mom's sister, had passed about almost 2 years ago, I think. She was living down in South Carolina. She had moved from Winchester, Virginia, and was living down in South Carolina. She passed, and then before that, my grandmother passed years ago. It looks like a oh, see, Ken even said the thing looked like a voodoo Vivi. Uh, the thing we showed the sigil.
mm-hmm.
Um, so my uncle's wife had passed in the end of July. So finding out that he passed from a heart attack was probably more or less him dying of a broken heart because they had been together since they were in their teens. And I think he was in his mid 60s. So you're giving him a break so he can get some water and catch his breath,
Not bad for a smoker.
which you stopped.
I've slowed down.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
we've seen you vape a couple of times
Of course.
on screen, but
Yes.
well, I mean, it's better than lighting up a cigarette and sitting there going, yeah, and blowing a nasty nicotine spray. But so I just like I said, I'm just hope anybody that wants the world needs more of us smokers. C Death 420 said that need more smokers. Um, but if anybody that's out there can pray for my mom and my sister and my nephew, actually, uh, my little 4-year-old nephew, my sister's son. They're traveling down. They'll be going down, and like I said, they'll be down there for a week, and then the travel back. Um, just pray for their safety that they get down there safe. Man, let everything that they need to get done as quickly as possible, and they can safely travel back. Um, and I appreciate everybody that's come on and I'm yeah. Linda put on there. If anybody wants to do any interviews, let us know. We would love to have you up. We are, like I said, we got the one possibly next Thursday. Um, we'll get more information on that before the weekend's out. I'm going to try to have Irene and Dreamwalker back on. Obviously, before the Halloween season, this is the witches and sorcerers time of the year, and with us going out to this pagan festival tomorrow, it's the I am a proud non-smoker for 40 years. That's from mom. Yeah. What was I saying? Oh, um, the Frederick. Yeah, it's a pagan festival. It's the Frederick uh, Pagan Festival. I think it's their sixth annual. And each time the first year they had it, they had I want to say like 200 people. The next year they had like 400 people. The next year, and yeah, because 2019 and 2000 no yeah 2019 2020 they weren't able to have it because of the big old c word. Uh, they're from reading. Hold on, let me pull it up. Bacon Pride. So looking at the schedule, at 10 a.m. they have an opening ritual, um, which is some words and stuff from Irene and a couple other people that are running it. 11 o'clock they have a healing ceremony, um, uh, a Loki workshop and ritual. 12 o'clock they have magic, mystery, and music. Trauma informed spirituality. Uh, they have Irene's group, Kindred Crow. They will be performing from 1 to 2. Uh, but it runs from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you want to go online, you can look it up. It's just type in Frederick Pagan Pride, and it will show you uh, the store. I have to go to the store and shower. Brandon, don't worry about it. We appreciate you coming in, and we know how things are going. Um, by the way, if you can, I will get the link and I will put it in here. If you can, go on, vote Brandon as the face of he's in a competition type thing. He made the first cut, which they went from like 64 people down to 20, and he came in first place out of that grouping from 64 to 20, and now they go from 20 to 15, and then probably 15 to smaller group. But you got 6 days to vote on that. Uh, but I will get the link. Let me get the link real quick. It's a Facebook link. I know you're probably not gonna be able to click on it, but if you scan over it and copy and paste it and put it in your web browser and go on and vote for Brandon. You can see what they are able to do. I believe the prize is so one horror enthusiast will win $13,000, a walk-in role on an independent film, a two-night stay at Buffalo Bill's house, and go head-to-head with horror legend Kane Hodder in a photo shoot for Rue Morgue magazine. So Kane Hodder is a American author, stuntman, and actor best known for his portrayal of Jason Voorhees in the Friday the 13th franchise.
Oh boy,
Yeah,
I'd be afraid to meet. I would be. I'd be afraid to him shaking his hand, him ripping off my arm, beating me with it.
right. Buffalo Bill's house, the legendary film location of the five-time Academy Award-winning horror film The Silence of the Lambs, is now open for overnight stays, a guided tour, and on-location filming. Outfitted with screen-used movie memorabilia, artwork, and multiple interactive movie experiences, Buffalo Bill's house retains the feel of the iconic film set while providing amazing hospitality and photo opportunities, lotion included. Just put the lotion in the basket, Clarice.
Oh God, uh, that's wrong. That's just no.
I can smell you, Clarice.
Clarice, you want some Chianti and a hamburger? This does
No,
not. I can picture it right now, like Hannibal Lecter goes to Five Guys restaurants. No, this is like 4.5 guys. Okay, come on, get it right.
C Death 420, LOL. Who would want to stay there? Somebody that's a horror enthusiast. And trust me when I say that Brandon is a horror enthusiast. I mean, if you're getting into the paranormal, I like horror films too. But at the same time, Brandon is obsessed with a lot of the paranormal stuff and a lot of the horror stuff. My wife is obsessed with Stephen King. Yeah, I
Uh,
already showed it off. She goes, nice shirt, babe. Which I got to let her know that my boss is interested in a Michael Myers. What? Oh, she must she must have heard me say Stephen King. Her
oh
little
God.
brain. She went, oh
Oh gosh, she like if she saw something in the library signed by him, okay, we don't. I don't need to eat. The kids can have ramen noodles. I mean, just for a week. That's all. It's a
yeah.
bad joke.
You call him Raymond or Ramen.
Ramen, ramen's the same thing. Whatever it is Chinese drywall.
I thought that was a good driver. Oh, that's Rain Man.
Rain Man.
But
Oh God.
anybody questions for Sam or me before we get off of here, so I can go enjoy the very ending of Nightmare Before Christmas. I
That's a love story
I,
now.
I like this time of year because it's getting closer to my birthday, which is in 1 month and 4 days.
Nice.
We are going to try to stream from the festival, um, uh, especially if I have to work tomorrow and I'll be home before we have to leave. That is over. We are what? No, now they're watching Halloween Town. Um, I have to work tomorrow, but I'll be home beforehand. Linda's got a baseball game for one of our friends, but I don't know what time that ends. So we may or may not be going to this festival, but we're going to try to get out there. I mean, it is from 10 till 5, but at the same time, it's one of them family comes first before pleasure. And if we don't, then we will definitely be trying to go out investigating with Austin and our semi adopted son. So is Tiffany. So is Tiffany what, Mom? She's not obsessed with Stephen King. Oh, obsessed with horror? Yeah. Horror wise, yes. Tiffany definitely does like her horror films.
I'll tell you this much. I am a complete wimp whenever it comes to torture flicks. I cannot watch them. I am the shame of my family. I cannot watch torture flicks whatsoever. And it's just like a 46-year-old man who can't even watch somebody get stabbed in the eye without being. I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of myself.
Linda says we are going, so we will definitely try to be out there. Hopefully, we can be out there before 1 o'clock because I would like to be able to. It's whatever Rosie wants to watch. I don't like those either. But we're gonna try to be out. Hopefully, be out there by 1 o'clock. Yeah. For a good horror, you don't even need to see the monster. Yeah. So, did we classify Aliens as a horror movie?
I think you could, the original one. I mean, that was. I mean, think about it. An alien
Classify,
exploding from somebody's chest.
do we classify Jaws as a horror movie?
Yeah, I think. It's more adventure than anything.
Sci-fi horror, I guess, for aliens. Look, we've been on there. I just watched Aliens 20 minutes ago. We've been on here long enough that the merch thing has popped back up.
I love you people. Good God.
So, yes, if you'd like, you can go on to merch.streamelements.com, Smith Family Paranormal. That's on the Twitch side. You can look at some of the merch. We will be, uh, that's specific stuff that you can uh, get on there and from, they just take kind of our logo and go on there and make shirts and t-shirts, sweatshirts and hats and stuff like that. But if you'd like to go on to smithfamparanormal.com, you can get stuff like that. We will be having these on the site. Um, these things are pretty cool. Um, you need a special ghost fan. We have one painted black with the logo on the other side. No, black shows off. We live in Maryland. There's the wifey put it in there. I could have also done this. If you like to send us stuff or go to our work merch site. Um, uh, what was I about to say? Damn it. Damn it, Janet. Yes, it's about that time too. It was just a jump to the left.
Oh God.
And then a step to the right. We will be having the shirts on there. Um, we will be having our. Me and Linda decided that one of the things, because we have a lot of crystals, is to actually do candles. And um, the time of the season, obviously, we do have our. I was kidding her. Um, we have the Halloween candles, which we figure we got um, skulls that bleed,
Yes.
um, which I can.
I love that you took the suggestion. I love that.
Sam, that was a suggestion I had already had before you even said it.
True, you got me there, but I guess the power of two came in hand.
Yeah, it's usually the power of three, but we have the Halloween, we have skull candles, we have um, pumpkin candles that or pumpkin things. I can show you them real quick. We have these, and then we actually have the pumpkin spice flavoring. Yes.
I believe that's what the cat did. Hi.
I'm being attacked.
Are you annoying, Daddy?
Being attacked, but no, she's actually not. You disrupted her, is what it is.
Does your shoulder bleeding?
Sam, are you looking?
Yeah, I'm looking everywhere. Let me to. Oh no, you got that! Hell yeah! Hell yeah! I love that.
So then,
Now he's looking.
so then when you light it, it gets down to a certain point, and then the skull will just bleed.
Thank you. I guess the bromance continues. Shit. I mean, I love that. Nice.
This one is more deeper, more solid. Once the candle burns down to about here, the red will start seeping through, and then once it gets down far enough, because this will burn, the outer part will stay more solid as the candle burns down. It'll start bleeding out the eyes.
I love it. Hell yeah, that was great. Oh, that's original. That I love. Hell yeah.
And this also bleeds.
Nice.
The bone marrow.
I love it. That's a great job you guys did. I love it.
Yeah. So this one we're gonna we have a mold for it, but we kind of messed it up, so we gotta make a new mold of this.
Mm-hmm.
The silicone making mold, and this one is cool because I'm looking right through there. There's a hole, so once it bleeds down, it'll start bleeding out here.
No, that's a Christmas gift.
If
That's
you
a
guys
Christmas
would like
gift.
any of these while he is here, please let us know. The small ones are 10, the large ones are 20, and this guy is 15.
Nice.
All of them are bleeding candles, and they are homemade in here. I will show videos as they are being made and shipped out.
I love that.
But that one's going to take a minute because we got to get more silicone to.
I have a whole box that just came in today. So just takes an overnight to heal. Cool, and we're good. So if you guys want them, shout out. Let us know.
Yeah.
Get to work.
I wonder what burning skull smells like.
Pretty nice. You can add any scent to it.
I think he's being facetious.
I know
like
he
an
is.
Actual burning skull.
Sitting there going to some kind of restaurant you never thought you would like.
Dave, I'm not quite sure that's how that works.
I love it.
I'm not quite sure that's how that works, but okay.
That's a good idea. That's a great idea. A two-parter.
Simon, I kill you. We do have just regular
I like those.
silicone.
Mm-hmm.
Shrunken headband. But this is silicone. We can do whatever. So if you'd like Indiana Jones type thing, the crystal skulls.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
We could actually put crystals in where the eye sockets are when we're pouring the resin, so that there will be crystals in the skull.
Imagine the light that would come out of it with the.
We can put lights those little LED lights or the Christmas tree lights that come with a battery. So
Hmm.
if you want to light this up, there's a whole bunch of stuff that we can do. Obviously, with it being the Halloween season, the sooner you let us know, sooner we can get it made and shipped out. Um, we do ship overseas. Um, it costs a little more. So just remember that if you're overseas, which a lot of our viewers are from the United States anyway. We do have a couple that are overseas. Reading. Keep getting Facebook messages. So it is now 1 hour 16 minutes into this. Um, I apologize if you're watching on Twitch. Um, how the goof up happened. Uh, I don't know how the goof up happened, but it did. Um, but if you like any of the things, we're gonna be putting these shirts. These shirts only take 20 minutes to make, less than that really. But if you like a specific design, we can go try to find it. This one in particular, I kind of like. This is the one I did. I think I did. Yeah, this is the one I did. Um, and this is we can make various things on a Cricut, which since she's listening, my boss wants Michael Myers. Who's Michael Myers? Who's the one that it's William Shatner's head turned inside out?
Michael Myers.
He wants a Michael Myers of this, so the eyes being black and everything else kind of bleached out. So we'll have to figure that out. I told him I would look into it. We can make things Crickets over there. We can print. We can make the pattern things. This was a wood stencil that we found at a craft store for $1. Like, why not? We had the
Hmm.
shirts at home. Dollar thing of bleach. Spray it down. We can make them. We can make them. I just said that. You are so behind. She's like, we can make our own stencils for the bleach shirts of any kind. Just remember that if it is trademarked material such as Avengers or anything, we can get in trouble for selling stuff like that. So most of this stuff won't even print out on the Cricut anyway. But like if you want Jack Skellington, we can't do that because it's trademarked. So there are certain things that we can do and can't do, type thing. So if you Disney, I'm not going. I'm not going to go against the big mouse House of Mouse.
Oh, you never do. I mean, uh, it's like Mickey can look so cute with the guillotine.
Yeah, with the handle of the guillotine.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
just
yeah,
yeah, pretty much.
we can still make it, but can't advertise it or on our personal site. So if you would like anything that is trademark or copyrighted, let us know personally. So yes, but I mean we can't, like she said, we can't put it on our actual website to sell. But if it's or we wouldn't actually be selling it. Wink, wink. Um, nudge, nudge. But we can make it just like Michael Myers. I mean that's trademark, but it's one of them. I'm not actually going to have my boss buy something. But 1 hour 20 minutes. We appreciate you coming in. Sam, stand by.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully, it won't drop off like it did the other day. But then again, we're not using this
Hmm.
as our internet. So we enjoy everybody that came in. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
So stand by.